Hello everyone, and welcome back to WolfQuest, the Untold Tales, and I do want to apologize for the brief gap in this series. As some of you guys may know, I was out of town last week, and that kind of threw off my recording schedule, and unfortunately I did not get WolfQuest done in time. But we're back now, and we're going to be continuing on with this as it is for the time being, with it running with a series taking 2 weeks, but I'm going to try and get it so that we can be running a series every week rather than it taking 2 weeks to get through it, because you guys have been really enjoying these series, it seems. I've really been enjoying these series, and I think it'd be cool if we could do more WolfQuest, because this is one of the things that you guys are always asking me about, even when the series is running. So yeah, we're going to see if we can increase that a little bit more, but that's going to be a little ways out, because I got to get some things set up with that first. But yeah, so we had our voting over the time I was gone, and we have our next winner, our next side story, and we're gonna go ahead and hit begin quest here, and we actually get to play on pretty easy this time, because the wolf who won the poll, in just a moment, let me quickly get this off, and I'll explain why I had that in a minute here. But we'll go ahead and meet our wolf here, who is Sirius. So this is the next side story wolf will be following. He is the son of Andromeda, I believe. Yeah, he should be the son of Andromeda. Sometimes it's hard to keep track of who's of what lineage, but Sirius's challenge is that he can play on pretty easy, but as he is raising his pups, he must only hunt from the cattle ranch until we reach the journey, so it could be kind of difficult. We'll have to see how this goes, and of course, we know the cattle ranch didn't work out too well for poor Knight, so it does come with some inherent dangers. But the reason I had my frame rate on there in the beginning, I forgot to turn it off, was because I got a new graphics card, and one of the biggest reasons I got a new graphics card was to be able to play WolfQuest, and it seems to be holding up pretty well, but the new version of WolfQuest is looking like it's going to be a lot more graphically intense than this one, and so I wanted to make sure I'd be ready to handle that for when WolfQuest 3 comes out, and so hopefully you'll see an increase in performance even with this version of WolfQuest. It should be a little bit smoother than it has been, and so hopefully it'll be looking a little bit nicer for you guys, and hopefully that will be especially noticeable with the new version of WolfQuest. So let's catch this bunny too if we can, since he happens to be right here, and then let me show you Sirius's stats. So if we go to pack stats here, you can see that we already have 110 experience because we just hunted. He has only 15 strength, 70 stamina, and 65 speed, so he definitely is a much more speed-oriented wolf than he is a strength-oriented wolf, but he has a lot of stamina as well, and so he'll be able to run for quite a long distance should he need to. So we're going to go ahead and make our way in this direction, I think, and head for the elk hunting ground and see if we can get our stats up a little bit. Or not our stats, but well, yeah, I guess experience is a stat. But we'll see if we can get our experience up a little bit so that we can hopefully find a mate in this episode. And then next episode, once we go to raise pups, is going to be where the challenge truly starts. Now, if you guys are not keeping up with the latest news about WolfQuest 3, I would highly recommend you do so, because we've seen some amazing some of the videos that have released have been pretty amazing. This last week, we got to catch our first glimpse of the new pups, and they are adorable. My first thought was, oh my goodness, this is so cute. They're almost, the game is almost getting to the point where it's nearly photorealistic, and that is honestly incredible to see, but the new pups are so cute. And of course, my second thought was, oh great, that's going to make it even harder to deal with the possibility of losing them. It's kind of terrible, but you guys, I don't think I'm going to handle this too well. We're going to have to get very good at the game very fast, because you know what? It's gonna be that much more. It's gonna be that much more upsetting. Oh man, it's gonna be such a new game experience that I'm a little bit worried about that. But you know what? They're amazing, and I can't wait to see them, even if it is going to be a little bit of an adjustment, and even if it might be a little bit difficult to take care of them sometimes. But we've seen a lot of updates over the past few weeks here. WolfQuest does weekly updates, and they also recently recently announced that, or not announced, but they showed how they're going to be redoing the rendering. And again, it's nearly photorealistic. So the vegetation here, it looks alright. It's certainly not photorealistic, but it's not terrible either. But the vegetation they were showing in the video is a lot denser, and it looks almost like real life. The shading is a lot better, and it's absolutely incredible. Again, if you guys don't keep up with the devlogs, I would highly recommend you do so, because it's really incredible to see how WolfQuest 3 is developing, and it's definitely... it's gonna be amazing to see when it comes out. It's taking WolfQuest to an all-new level. And for, you know, this game has been around for more than 10 years now. I remember playing this game when I was still quite young. And so to see it having come so far and to not only still be around, but to be doing as well as it is and continuing to develop in the way that it is absolutely phenomenal. And I cannot wait to see what this next step of WolfQuest will be. So, I also am tentatively trying to figure out how things are going to go, because from the sound of it, from what we're seeing, from the improvements they've announced, from the things they've shown us, and the way the maps are expanding, it sounds like they're planning to make each mission a lot bigger. Now, I mean, we don't know exactly how that's going to work out. We don't know how it's going to look because, of course, the game is not out yet. But with all the improvements that they're making and all the way they're changing things, the way they're changing the hunting, the way they're making the maps so much bigger, it sounds like they are planning to massively, and like we've seen some of how they've announced how they're going to be changing the interactions with stranger wolves. You're actually going to have to court your mate instead of just, oh, hey, social arena. And so it sounds like all of the missions, or at least the Amethyst Mountain one, are going to be getting substantially larger, and they're going to take a substantially longer time to actually complete. And so what's probably going to happen is the way we're going to run our series is going to split, it's going to change up a little bit. We may not do as many litters with each wolf as we've been doing, because the way it stands right now, we can complete the game in about an hour and a half from the beginning of Amethyst Mountain to the end of Slough Creek, and then about an hour more for each successive litter. And so that, of course, is not very long. So if we're looking at a much longer playtime in Amethyst Mountain and maybe in Slough Creek as well, then that's going to be a lot harder to keep up with. So what's probably going to end up happening is the packs we have, because as of right now we have 2 wolf packs that are both descended from our original one. They're probably going to each get their own season. So instead of just WolfQuest Season 5, we're going to have... well, we don't know their names yet, but we're going to have the Moonlight Descendant and the Northern Lights Descendant, and they'll probably be separate seasons. And so that'll also mean we have WolfQuest running more frequently, and we'll just be catching up with different wolves at different times. We'll probably also, like I said, drop the number of litters that we're going to have. We'll have to see how long it takes us to complete one, but we may end up having only 2 to 3 litters per wolf. And again, with the packs being split into separate seasons, that will affect things as well. We may also end up having 2 seasons for each pack if it ends up being especially long. But keep in mind, this is all tentative. This is just me speculating based off what we've gathered from what we've seen of the game so far. And we honestly have not seen all that much. We've seen a lot of the graphical updates, we've seen a lot of proposed gameplay updates, but we have no idea how this is really going to affect the game. We know a very minimal amount about the actual effect that this is going to have on the WolfQuest game. And so, with that in mind, this is something that we really won't know until we get into it. So everything I'm saying now could change. This is just my speculation based off the little that we do know about WolfQuest 3. So, man, this elk is really doing some damage. Okay, let's grab some food here real fast and see if we can get a bite to eat here and make sure we're make sure that we're gonna be up to the level we need to be to finish this hunt. Because Sirius is not all that strong, but I think he should almost be done hunting. In fact, this may be our last hunt. We'll check at the pack stats a little bit after this. So, let's make sure we chase this elk down. It is nice to be playing on pretty easy, but that's going to be a lot harder, of course, once we actually get to the point of having to deal with the cattle ranch. So, we'll probably end up taking the Bison Peak Den just for the reason that... it is that much closer, although honestly, the Aspen Heights Den is not that far away either. I really don't like the journey from that one, and that's something I'm hoping will be balanced too, because right now you basically have the, quote, easy journeys, which would be Bison Peak, that would be Saddle Meadows, and then you have Aspen Heights, which is on the other side of the map. You have to go basically from one corner to the other, and I think probably the biggest reason that it feels a little imbalanced is because the rendezvous site is in a static location no matter where you choose. Now, again, this is pure speculation. I have no information on what they're doing here. I'm not dropping hints or anything. I don't have info you guys don't know. This is all pure speculation, so do not take this as, oh, Jay confirmed it. No, please don't say Jay confirmed anything. This is me talking off the top of my head. Alright, we have 510, so we need to hunt twice more at least, possibly 3 times depending on if we find anything else to take out in the meantime. But yeah, so don't take any of this as, oh, Jay is confirming stuff that's coming in the game. No, I'm not. I'm just speculating. Yeah, I don't have information about the game at this point, and even if I did, in the past, I am a beta tester, but in the past, with every time we've done the beta testing, it's been very particular about what we are allowed to release versus what we aren't allowed to release, and so I can't give you guys special information, and I'm not going to, because what's the fun in that, you know? I don't want to spoil things that they don't want you guys to know just yet, because I want you guys to be able to have the same experience of finding out a lot of the new features for yourselves. So all of this is just me talking off the top of my head and saying, I hope this is what's in it, I wonder if this is what's in it. I'm gathering from the same information that you guys are. Alright, where's the herd? They went this way. Okay, there we go. Alright. So, but yeah, I hope that they'll rebalance the journey a little bit, and I mean, with the way it sounds like they're reworking the missions, how they're completely changing, even just finding a mate, it sounds like they are doing quite a lot of reworks to the existing missions, and so I hope that's one thing that will come with balancing is, making the rendezvous site journey a little bit better in regards to maybe balancing it out a bit more. So that it's not this one huge thing. And I mean, that could be argued as a disadvantage of the Aspen Heights Den because it is far away from a stranger wolf territory, it's decently close to a hunting ground, and then of course it's far from the rendezvous site. But that's one thing that I hope will get worked out in the next version of the game. I'm hoping that'll be something that they maybe do some tweaking to, and maybe get settled out a little bit more. Okay, who's running? Who's gonna be the one to run? It's you. Okay, you're the elk we're hunting. But that's something I hope they will work on a little bit because it also kind of doesn't make sense for the rendezvous site to be in the same place for everyone. But I imagine with a new map, and I'm pretty sure they did confirm new dens in the pup update. I'm pretty sure that was confirmed. You'd have to go back and check. But when they talked about pups last week, I'm pretty sure they did say that they're adding additional dens, and if they're expanding the map, that would just make sense. So with that in mind, I imagine that would change the way the rendezvous site journey is going to work. And I imagine that would make it so that it's a little bit... the journey is going to be a little bit more varied because, of course, the maps are, I think they said 12 times bigger than the current ones. If we look at our map, this is how big it is currently, and in the new map, you'll be able to go all the way out to the river. You'll be able to go further up on the mountains. I think it expands more this way. I think it goes further this way too. In the video where they first talked about expanding it, they showed exactly how this is relative to the new map, but it's that much bigger. It's completely huge, and so with that in mind, it would make sense that if you're going to have that much space, you're not going to just be confined to the same playable area as you would be here. It would make sense that a lot of that area would end up opening up and that they'd want to make sure that there's actually space for people to play in that area rather than just than just kind of being stuck to the same area they've always been in. And it's, oh, the map is bigger, but there's nothing to do here. So I imagine they would be expanding that out. And of course, if that's the case, if you have a den all the way on the other side of the map, you're not going to want to have to go to the rendezvous site currently where it is now. And so I really hope that mission will see a rework. It seems logical that it would. The other thing that I hope will get reworked with that is going to be the winter hunting. We're still going to have to do it at this point. We'll have to do it with Sirius and his mate once we find her. But it's one of those things that I do hope we'll see a rework, because it's always been one of the points of the game that is not realistic. Wolves don't bulk hunt like that. They'll hunt what they need, and basically they operate on feast and famine. They'll hunt when they need to hunt, and then they'll go for a while as they're digesting their meal, and then when they start to feel hungry again, they'll go hunting again. And they don't hunt all at once like we've had to do for this mission. And so it's one of those things that I don't think is the most realistic. And I don't know that players are really getting a wrong impression about wolves from it, but nevertheless, it would be nice to see the winter hunts finally end up being put to rest here, and for us to not have to do them anymore. Oh, come on, let me bite the elk. Let me bite the elk. This is another thing that hopefully will be improved, is the actual being able to attack. I think they're making some improvements to that. I'm pretty sure. I mean, they're overhauling pretty much everything. So honestly, in most cases, it seems like if you're asking, are they improving this, the answer is probably going to be yes. Okay, so we need to hunt one more time. But yeah, so it's one of those things where I hope they will improve the hunting systems, that we don't need to winter hunt for the journey too, so that we can be a little bit more dynamic and actually hunt on the journey, because as it stands, there's nowhere to hunt between the river crossing by Saddle Meadows or even by Bison Peak. That whole last meadow, there's nowhere to hunt near there, and even a lot of the journey to get to that point, there's nowhere to hunt there. So if you don't hunt, you starve, and you basically just have to winter hunt. That's the thing with Sirius's challenge too, is it's not that he can't winter hunt. He can winter hunt, but we can't use those carcasses until we actually leave for the journey. I want to make sure I clarify that now, so that it's not like, wait a minute, he's allowed to winter hunt, but we have to rely on the cattle ranch to actually feed our pups up until that point. So we'll see. Oops, where did the elk go? All right, there we are. Let's make sure that we can take this elk down, and we should be pretty close. There we go. Oh, it's a little bit laggy sometimes, and I don't know if that's graphics lag. I think because it actually double bit there, sometimes it can be a little bit laggy just in the hunting. And so I'm hoping that the new version will come with some optimizations too, because again, a lot of this game hails from 2007, basically 2007. A lot of this game started in 2007, and some of the mechanics have remained the same from that point. Oh, there's a fox. Hello. But yeah, a lot of mechanics have remained the same, and while some of the actual code has been updated, nevertheless, it still remains okay. We do have enough experience. I think we're gonna we'll head up this way. I feel like Sirius would make his way towards the Specimen Ridge pack up here. But yeah, so that's one thing that I hope will happen too, because this game, it's held up really well over the years. But for something that was designed in 2007, it's really, at this point, not making use of all the resources that computers today have. And so that is one thing I hope we'll see a change in with WolfQuest 3, is that we'll see some optimizations, that we'll see the game just generally being designed for the better computers we have now. And that'll be amazing to see, because there have been so many things that would have been super cool, but that the computers back then just could not handle. Trust me, computers were a lot wimpier in 2007. Oh my goodness, yeah. They were nowhere near as good as they are now. And, yeah, it's funny because you look back on that and you go, well, how did we even handle having computers that were that weak? But the fact is, programs at the time were designed for the computers. So yeah, there's no way the 2007 computers could handle programs that run on computers today. They would just freeze up and die. But back then, programs were designed for that, and WolfQuest was among those. And so, well, some of the code has been reworked, and the gameplay has been improved, and we've seen a lot of bug fixes. There's still a lot that is not making use of its full potential, and I'm really excited to see some of that be cleaned up a little bit. Oh, okay, so we have a dispersal female. She looks healthy. I don't see any mange. That's something we always check for. We haven't had a mate with mange up until this point, although one of our wolves had mange. But I always check for it because that might lead to a bit of an extra challenge if we wanted to take that on. But yeah, you know what? Honestly, I like her. I think we're gonna go ahead and take her as our mate, so let's greet her. And just start out slow. Don't want to jump in and be like, let's start a pack. that would scare her a bit, I imagine. That's don't ever introduce yourself to someone that way. Yeah, we want to be nice and cautious in our introduction, and take some time to get to know her first, and then we'll go ahead and give her a nice sniff and then a lick. Can't combine those words. That doesn't quite work. But yeah, we'll give her a nice sniff and then a lick. And it seems like she likes us too, so we'll go ahead and let's start a pack. I'm really excited to see the new development for this too, because the mates will also have personalities, and that'll come out in the whole courtship. What would you call it? A courtship ritual? I don't know. There's a courtship mission basically, and we're gonna go ahead and we'll name her Portia, I think. That is another star, I believe. Sirius is named after a star. Sirius is from the Galaxy Pack, and so all of them have space names. And Portia is another star, if I remember correctly. So we'll go ahead and keep that name for her. And let's turn on the name tag. She is actually not as fast as us. Oh no, she is as fast. Okay. She didn't seem quite as fast as some of our other wolves have been, and so I was a little bit surprised and thinking maybe she'll be the strong one, but no, she is pretty fast. So we seem to have a very speed-oriented pair here, who's maybe not as strong, and we'll have to see if that ends up, working for or against them as they set out on this mission together, and as they set out to start their own family. But yeah, so that's something that is changing with the new update is, you know, even in this version, the mates have seemed to have a little bit of personality, but honestly, that's mostly the randomness of the game. In the coming version, it's been confirmed that they will have personalities. We had a video about that recently. They have 3 different axes that leads to 3 axes that they could be somewhere in the middle of, and so like they could be more bold, they could be more shy, or they could be it's boldness, activity, and socialness, I think, are the axes, if I remember. You guys could go watch the video. It's, again, if you guys don't keep up with the WolfQuest 3 logs, what are you even doing? It's well worth keeping up with them. And so let's head down here, and I think we're just about to the rendezvous site here, or not the rendezvous site, what am I thinking? The portal. I was just talking about the rendezvous site, and so I think we'll go ahead and stop here, because it is about time to wrap up the episode. And so next time we'll be sending these two off to Slough Creek, and that will be when Sirius's challenge first really starts, because he'll have to start to survive from the cattle ranch and start to feed his pups from the cattle ranch, as opposed to just being able to hunt. And so we'll do the winter hunting, and then his challenge will really begin. So for now, though, we're going to go ahead and end off this episode here for today. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. But until then, this is Jay, over and out.